Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bold and Beautiful podcast. I'm your host, Amanda, and I've titled this week's episode, A Tiny Hero. There was definitely a hero this week. He just happened to be tiny. If you don't know who I'm referring to yet, you will soon enough. I hope all you guys had a great weekend, and I don't have any news for this week, but I do have several special messages. Let's get to those now. Our first message is from Tim Murdoch. He is a fellow podcaster. He is the host of the Happy Horror Time podcast. He's a sweetheart, and he took the time out of his weekend to send us a message. Here's what Tim had to say.
Good morning. Wow, what a week on the Bold and the Beautiful. I sound this way because last night I had 4 drinks and I just apparently can't handle my alcohol. But you know what? You know what I can handle? A good week of the Bold and the Beautiful. This week, I'm still trying to process the amazingness that we just experienced. What a breath of fresh air. I mean, since January, it's all been about Hope. And don't get me wrong, Hope is my favorite character on the show, and Brooke. But it's just every week another person's in on the secret. But the one person we want to know the secret is Hope. And I think at the very last second on Friday, she does know, but still having a hard time understanding what Liam was saying, and with Thomas pounding on the other side of the door. Wow. You guys. I mean, what am I saying? It was the best week.
Thank you so much for your message, Tim. I really, really appreciate it, and I know all of the listeners do too. And I completely agree with everything. I could not be happier right now. Our next message comes from Chelsea S., and I so appreciate her taking the time out of her busy schedule to record this message for me. I very much appreciate it. Chelsea always makes me laugh, and we had such a good time when she was my co-host. I hope to have her on the show again soon. Let's see what Chelsea has to say.
Hello, B&B fellow podcast listeners. It's me, Chelsea. I'm back. I just wanted to send a little recap about this week, how I'm feeling, because I'm feeling all of the feels, and apparently so is my dog. Shh, quiet. Okay, sorry. So, can I get a hallelujah? Thank you, everyone do the Dougie, because he is our little pint-sized hero. He did what all these adults would not do. They just want to talk out of both sides of their mouth and not actually do what needs to be done. As soon as he got the info, he knew what to do. Went and told somebody, the right somebodies. Oh, my heart beats still for this little boy right now. Okay, so let's talk about how do I feel about Thomas. I hate him. I'm just so glad that things unfolded the way they did, that they were able to get out of that hotel room, because I was totally thinking he was going to drug Hope and that she was going to be pregnant with his baby, and we were going to go on that roller coaster, which I did not buy a ticket for that ride, so let me off right here. Now, how do I feel about Steffi? Do I feel bad? No, I don't. I feel just as bad as if she would have ordered a dress online and it didn't fit. She bought a person. Yes, technically Taylor paid for it, but she knew what was happening. She didn't care. She acted like she cared. Oh, I want to meet the mom. But you best believe if that was not an option, if Taylor was like, oh no, the mom wants to stay private, she wouldn't have cared. She would have still took that baby. She bought a person. She human trafficked a baby. Do I feel bad for her? No. Go buy another one. Anyway, now, how do I feel about the Flo and the Wyatt situation? What goes around comes around, girl. Am I sad you're about to lose your whole life? No, I'm not. Eye for an eye. That wasn't like, no, she dirty, she's shady. She didn't confess until Liam got in her face and told her exactly what she did, which was destroy their lives. So, another person I don't feel sorry for. Now, Liam and Hope. My heart. Oh my gosh, the acting. You know I don't learn actors' names, but when it comes award season time, these two need to be on the podium taking home trophies because they were amazing. Amazing. I'm just so happy this is turning out the way it is. Like I said, I was so nervous about the Thomas drugging thing, like so nervous. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. Hopefully nothing ever again. Hopefully he gets caught for all his shenanigans. But this is B&B. He is a forester, so I'm not holding my breath on that. Now, what I do hope is that Zoe also gets the Wrath of Fury, which is going to be Hope and Liam coming after everybody who did this to them. I hope, I pray, but we'll see. I'm just so glad this is done. Well, till next week, everybody. Fingers crossed that all the evil gets what's coming to them. Fingers crossed that Liam and Hope can work this out and be a happy family. And once again, I don't feel sorry for Steffi. I just don't. Sorry. Not sorry. All right, bye.
Thank you so much, Chelsea, for your message. Our next message comes from Tim Shields. Tim is newer to The Bold and the Beautiful. He has been watching for about 2 years, and he was recording a football game which got messed up, and it actually recorded The Bold and the Beautiful, and he watched it, and now, just like all of us, he cannot stop watching it. It is an addiction, and I feel sorry for you, Tim, but welcome to our world. I definitely have a love-hate relationship with the show. I also cannot stop watching it no matter how much I try. And Tim says, this has been the single best set of episodes since I started watching. Great acting all around, but I have to call out Scott Clifton for all his incredible work this week as he put the pieces of the puzzle together. The moment he held Beth, realizing she was his daughter all along, was the sweetest and most heartbreaking scene that I have seen in all the time I have been watching. The only thing I might have done different as a writer is I would have had Steffi be the one to figure out the truth first, and then have her make the horrible decision to tell Liam and Hope. Anyways, what do you think the aftermath will be? Will Steffi fight for custody? Will Liam and Hope get back together? Will Reese go to jail? And if he does, who will host The Price is Right? Those are all really good questions, Tim. I hope Steffi does not fight for custody. I do think Liam and Hope will get back together. I'm wishing that Reese would go to jail, but I don't think he will. And I think the aftermath may have some effect on Brooke and Ridge. I hope not, but I'm thinking so. Thank you so much for your message, Tim. I really appreciate it. Our next message comes from Renee D. Renee says, so far I love Douglas. Now I have my whole family watching this with me. We are stuck to the screen and I cried yesterday. Thomas better get his ass kicked soon. Zoe is a two-faced POS. She needs to be with Thomas since she runs to him so much. Praying Steffi keeps an open heart. You and me both, Renee. I really hope Steffi does the right thing. Also, I agree Zoe and Thomas would make a really good couple. And I think it is so cool that you have your whole family watching the show. And I also agree that Thomas should get his ass kicked. Definitely agree with that. Thank you so much, Renee, for your message. I really appreciate it. Last, but certainly not least, Ken C. Kinsey actually sent me some messages, but something is going on with Instagram and it will not let me play them. I've been working on this all day trying to figure it out, and it just is not going to happen. They will not play, but I do have some of his message that I will read to you guys. So this is what Ken had to say. Scott, Jackie, Matthew, Annika, and Henry need to get Emmy nominations in this storyline. My heart is going out to my girl, Steffi. She truly did a great job raising Beth as her own. If I was her, I would go ham on Reese, Flo, Zoe, and Thomas. I could not agree more, Ken. I think they all deserve an Emmy. Liam, Hope, Steffi, and Douglas, their characters are just wow. And the actors are amazing. Absolutely amazing. I hope Steffi goes crazy on Flo, Reese, Zoe, and Thomas. I really, really do. I hope Hope goes crazy on them. I hope Steffi goes crazy on them. I hope Brooke goes crazy on them. I hope they get what they deserve. Once again, I'm sorry I could not get your messages to play, Ken. Maybe next week you can send me some more with your reactions. Thank you so much for your message, Ken. And I can't wait to hear from you next week. Alright, guys. That's all the messages we have for this week. Since there's no news, enough with the chit chat. Let's get to the recap. So that brings us into Monday, the 29th. The show opens at Steffi's house with Thomas and Steffi in the nursery. Steffi is worried about Thomas and Hope because they definitely don't seem like happy newlyweds. You could say that again. Steffi wants Thomas to be patient, open, and honest with Hope. That's funny. And not to rush her. Hilarious. Thomas tells Steffi after tonight, everything will be fine, don't worry. Now we head over to Forrester with Zoe and Flo. Flo is freaking out because Thomas keeps threatening her, and Zoe thinks she's overreacting. Basically, it's SOS different week. They have the same argument they have every single week. Thomas is a psycho. Flo needs to tell the truth. Zoe doesn't want her to. And then Zoe takes up for Thomas. She's like, well, he's never hurt Hope. And I'm like, seriously, Zoe? Seriously? Zoe again talks Flo into keeping her mouth shut. Or so she thinks. Flo tells her that they both know Hope doesn't love Thomas. The first thing I told my husband, I paused it and I said, Joe, I am so happy I will never have to hear this freaking same argument ever again. Thank you. Thank you to the B&B gods because I'm so over this argument between these two. Over at Steffi's, in the living room, Hope and Liam are trying to understand why Douglas is saying Beth is alive. He's so cute. He's just so adorable. And they're both like, look, you mean she's alive in our hearts? And Douglas is like, no. Not like my mommy. Like, my mommy's dead, but Beth is alive, for real. Hope gets upset. She starts crying, and she tells Douglas to please stop saying that. Then she goes to the car to wait for Thomas. Thomas and Steffi come out of the nursery, and before Thomas leaves, he pulls Douglas to the side to remind him to keep his mouth shut. And Liam notices this and thinks it's weird. Then Thomas leaves. A few minutes later, Thomas and Hope arrive at their hotel for their staycation honeymoon. Hope wants to take it slow and talk for a while, but Thomas is not listening to a word she says. He starts unbuttoning his shirt, and then he grabs her and kisses her, and Hope stops him because she's not ready. Thomas is aggravated, but he calmly tries to talk her into being with him. So he calms down and he's trying to talk her into it. And he's telling her, you have to let Liam go. You have to let Liam go. And multiple times he tried to kiss her and she pulled away. Poor Hope. She is trying, but she can't stop thinking about Liam. Back over at Steffi's house, Steffi and Liam are talking to Douglas, and they are just having, chit chat. Do you want to make a fort? Do you want ice cream? Blah, blah, blah. Then Douglas asked about Phoebe. He asked if Phoebe is adopted, and Steffi says yes. And then he wants to know if they know who her mommy used to be. Steffi explains that she does know, but they don't talk about it. Then the girls wake up. So Steffi leaves, and Liam takes the opportunity to ask Douglas some questions. He basically wants to know why Douglas said what he said to Hope, if he knew it was going to upset her. And it's just so adorable how innocent and honest kids are. Because he looks at Liam like, adults. I said it because it's true. And then he tells Liam that he can show him where she is. And that's how Monday ends. So that brings us into Tuesday. The show opens at Steffi's with Douglas and Liam. Liam is like, okay, Douglas, that's a sweet idea, but you can't show me where Beth is because she's gone. Douglas insists that Beth is alive and he can take Liam to her. But Liam again tells him that Beth is gone. Then Steffi comes out of the nursery and Douglas tells her they were talking about Beth. Douglas goes to see the babies, and while he's gone, Liam tells Steffi what he said about Beth and that he was so adamant about it. Steffi is shocked for sure. Why would he say that? And why would he say that to Hope? Hello, because it's true. Over at Forrester Creations with Donna, Katie, and Brooke. The Logan women are all very worried about Hope. There's no way this marriage will work. She's never going to be in love with him the way she's in love with Liam. And she never should have married Thomas. Flo walks into the office and she totally agrees. She never should have married Thomas for a lot of reasons. Then they all start talking about how Thomas used to be horrible, and they are worried about Hope, especially being locked up in a hotel room with him alone. Brooke is very upset. She really wishes they could get through to Hope. Then they also talk about how Phoebe called Hope Mama and how it was really hard on Hope. Then they tell Flo about Thomas's past and how he's known to fly off the handle. And what if Hope says no? What will he do? Flo freaks out and she says she can't take it anymore. And she gets up and runs out of the office. And they're all like, what the heck? Over at the hotel with Thomas and Hope, they are kissing. And Thomas's phone goes off. And of course, Hope insists he answers it. And I was like, saved by the phone. But he ignores it. And he starts kissing her again. Again, she stops him. And she tells him that she's thinking about Liam. Big mistake. Thomas is upset that they are on their honeymoon and she is thinking about Liam. Then Hope mentions Douglas and Thomas gets really weird. He's like, don't say Douglas's name. And he's mad that every conversation with Hope includes or is about Douglas. Then he kisses her again, and it starts to get a little bit heated, and Hope stops him again. And this time he's mean. He tells her that Liam is in her past, and Beth is never coming back. Back over at Steffi's, in the nursery, Douglas is telling Beth that he knows she's Beth, and it was very cute. Then back out in the living room, Steffi offers to talk to Douglas because why on earth would he say such a thing? And then it clicks. Liam starts freaking out because I think he's thinking Douglas knows Thomas's secret. So he goes into the nursery to talk to him. And Douglas tells him that Phoebe is baby Beth. And at first, Liam is like, no, that's Phoebe. But Douglas is so sure and so adamant that Liam just stands there in shock. And Beth says, Dada, Dada. It was so cute. And that's how Tuesday ends. So that brings us into Wednesday. The show opens at Steffi's, but we are going to circle back to that. We are going to start at the hotel with Thomas and Hope. Thomas is very upset that Hope is thinking about Liam. And Hope just can't forget Liam. Like, you can't just stop loving someone overnight. So Thomas agrees to slow down and go at Hope's pace because they have all night. And Hope is uncomfortable, you can tell. Then they decide to get room service. So Thomas goes to get ice, and he gets a call from Vinny, the drug dealer. He has a little gift for Thomas and Hope. So the room service arrives, and Thomas hangs up. And did anyone notice that the room service attendant was Denise Richards' assistant? So Thomas pours Hope some champagne, and then he takes a work call. While he's gone, Hope tries to make herself calm down, and she tells herself that she has to let go and move on. And I'm like, oh, poor Hope. He's pressuring her so much, and she's pressuring herself. It's just sad to watch, and hard to watch. Now we head over to Wyatt's house. Flo is looking for Wyatt, but he's not home, so she texts him. She's thinking about everything that's happened since she agreed to keep Reese's secret. And then her mom, Shauna, comes in to check on her because she's been worried about her. And again, it's SOS different week. They have the same argument they always have. Flo needs to keep her mouth shut, blah, blah, blah. But this time, Flo is pissed at everyone, including her mom, because she should have told Hope the truth a long time ago. Flo tells Shauna that she knows she will lose everything, but it will all be worth it when Hope gets Beth back. In this moment, I really agreed with Flo. I felt like Shauna should have came in as her mother and given her good advice, given her the advice that she should tell. Instead, she did the opposite, and now Flo is just mad at everyone. But you know, Flo should be mad at herself too, because she let herself be influenced by everyone. Now we circle back to Steffi's. In the nursery with Beth, Liam, and Douglas. Douglas insists that Phoebe is Beth, that Beth is alive. And Liam asks him why he thinks that. And Douglas tells him that he heard his daddy say it. And then his daddy told him that. Then they go back into the living room with Steffi. And Steffi tells Douglas not to make up lies about Beth. But he promises that he wasn't. He had to tell the truth because that's what his mommy always tells him to do. Then he goes upstairs to play video games. Liam tells Steffi exactly what he said in the room. And Steffi is shocked. And poor Liam looks like he's about to lose it. And Steffi is like, look, there has to be an explanation. Because Thomas would never say that. Douglas must have misunderstood. Then Liam gets a call from Dr. Cortez, and he learns that Flo lied. And the doctor is upset that Liam has a birth certificate with her name on it for a child she did not deliver. She was out of the country when Phoebe was supposedly born. Steffi wants to know what the hell is going on. Now, guys, we get an Emmy-worthy performance by Scott Clifton. It all clicks. And Liam tells Steffi that Douglas is right. And he runs into the nursery and he picks Beth up and he looks at her like a new dad looks at his baby for the very first time. And he starts crying tears of joy. And that's how Wednesday ends. So that brings us into Thursday. The show opens at Steffi's house with Steffi, Liam, and Douglas. Liam tells Steffi that Phoebe is Beth. Steffi is like, no way. No, she is my daughter. But Liam assures her it all makes sense now. Beth is the secret. So Steffi yells at him to stop this nonsense. He's jumping to conclusions. There's some kind of misunderstanding with the birth certificate, and Flo will straighten it out. But Liam insists that he's figured out the secret. Steffi thinks Liam is being crazy, But he knows that he's right, and he leaves to go talk to Flo. Then Douglas tells Steffi that Phoebe is Beth, and she corrects him, but I think deep down she knows the truth. Now we head over to the hotel with Hope and Thomas. Hope is miserable, and she's looking at the ultrasound photo. Meanwhile, Thomas is in the lobby meeting up with Vinny, the drug dealer. No doubt to get drugs to drug Hope. At first, he doesn't take them, but then he ends up putting them in his pocket. Thomas is totally harassing Hope, and it's ticking me off. When Thomas comes back into the room, Hope wants to go to the spa. But of course, he offers to give her a massage himself. Gross. I'm literally getting sick. He's being so weird and creepy. He bought her some lingerie, and he insists that she tries it on for him. So she goes in the bathroom to try on the lingerie. He hides the pills in a drawer. And then he takes her phone, puts it on silent, and hides it in another drawer. And I'm like, this guy is so creepy. Over at Wyatt's with Flo and Wyatt, Flo tells Wyatt that she has something to tell him. The truth about Thomas. But instead of getting straight to it, she kind of starts beating around the bush. So she begins to tell him the truth, but then she's kind of tiptoeing around, trying to not get in as much trouble, I think. And finally she does tell him that it's about Thomas, Hope, and Liam. And Wyatt tells her that it can't be that bad. And I'm like, just wait. Then Liam busts through the door. And he's like, I know your secret. You sat back and watched us lose everything. And you watched our whole world crumble. So now's the time. Just admit it. Then Wyatt gets mad and he's like, dude, stop yelling at her. You're being crazy. And Flo finally admits it. Hope is the mother. She's never had a baby. And that's how Thursday ends. So that brings us into Friday, August the 2nd. The show opens at Wyatt's with Wyatt, Flo, and Liam. Flo just admitted she lied. And Hope's Phoebe's mother. Poor Wyatt freaks out. He's like, what the hell? Then Flo finally says it. Phoebe is Beth, and Beth is alive. And Liam wants to know how the hell this happened. So Flo explains everything. Reese switched the babies, and blah, blah, blah. She tells the whole story, and Flo downplays her part in the whole thing, by the way. She tries to say that she didn't know until way later, and blah, blah, blah. Liam and Wyatt are devastated. And when Liam finds out about the gambling debt, he actually sold Liam's child for a gambling debt. He starts to lose it. Flo explains she was being threatened by Thomas. And then she informs them even more that Thomas told her if she doesn't keep the secret, what happened to Emma will happen to her next. Liam freaks out. He grabs his phone and tries to call Hope. But we know that she doesn't have her phone. Thomas took it. Now we head over to Steffi's with Steffi and Douglas. And Douglas wants to call his daddy. So Steffi gives him her cell phone. And Ridge stops by and Steffi goes to get the door. And while she's gone, Douglas tells Beth, don't worry, I know your name is Beth. Then Douglas goes into the nursery to call Thomas. Steffi tells Ridge everything that Douglas said to them. And that Thomas told him that. And Ridge thinks all this is really weird. Over at the hotel with Thomas and Hope, Thomas is still trying to talk Hope into being with him. And then he gets a call from Douglas. And Douglas tells him that Liam and Steffi are nice. They're not mean like he is. Then Thomas starts his crap about, don't I feed you and clothe you? Don't talk about Phoebe anymore. So Douglas informs him that he told Liam the truth. And then he hangs up on him. And it was awesome. I thought it was just hilarious. Thomas is now in a panic. He wants to take Hope away. In other words, he wants to kidnap her. The walls are definitely closing in on old Tommy boy. So Thomas calls Steffi, and Steffi informs him that Liam saw a problem with the birth certificate and ran out of the house. And then Thomas just hangs up on Steffi. So weird. Hope comes out of the bathroom all dressed up, and Thomas is like, why are you wearing that? And she's like, because you said we're going out. And now she's starting to see that he's acting crazy. So he says, no, you need to go change. You need to put on traveling clothes because we are going on a surprise trip and I'm not telling you where. And Hope is like, okay, whatever. Back over at Steffi's, Ridge and Steffi talk to Douglas about why he would say that about Beth. And again, he tells them that his daddy told him and that he got really mad and told him he's not allowed to say anything. And Ridge is like, are you sure he got really mad? And he's like, yeah, he got really mad. So Thomas takes Hope to Forrester. And he tells her everything's going to be fine, just calm down. But Hope is not really buying it. She's frightened because Thomas is acting crazy. And he insists they have to leave. And Hope just definitely feels like something is not right. Back at Wyatt's, Thomas calls Flo, and she puts it on speakerphone so Wyatt and Liam can hear. And Thomas threatens her again to keep her mouth shut. And when Liam gets there, to shut it down, to end it, tell him it's not true. And thanks to Pam, because she walks up and she's talking really loud, they discover that Hope and Thomas are at Forrester. So Liam rushes out to go save Hope. And then Flo looks at Wyatt and she tells him that he can't possibly hate her more than she hates herself. But that she's still the woman he fell in love with. And basically Wyatt is like realizing everything has been a lie. Back at Forrester, Thomas tells Hope to go into the office and he's going to go check on the helicopter. So Hope is in the office and she's frightened, so she locks the door. And someone comes up and is banging on the office door, and it's Liam. Hope wants to know if Douglas is okay, and Liam says, yes, he's fine. Actually, Douglas is my hero. And Hope explains that Thomas got a helicopter to take her somewhere. And Liam is like, no, I don't think so. You're not going anywhere with him. Then he explains, or tries to explain everything to Hope. He's so worked up that he's having a hard time explaining to her everything where it makes sense. Because his adrenaline's going and he's saying all these things all at once. And Hope's like, I don't understand. And so while he's trying to explain and tell her the truth, Thomas comes up to the door and he starts banging on the door and screaming and going crazy like an animal, trying to get in before Liam can say it. But Liam ignores him and continues telling Hope the truth. You're Phoebe's mother. Steffi did not know, but Beth is alive. Phoebe is Beth. And that's how Friday ends. Hope is so shocked, she's speechless. And that's how the week ends, on a cliffhanger. My favorite way to end the week. Alright guys, you know what time it is. It's time to break this down and analyze it. Okay guys, I've never been so happy in my life. So excited, so happy, the truth is finally out. How long we've been waiting for this. A long time. Alright, let's start with Flo. Flo finally told the truth. Poor Wyatt is devastated. I'm not sure what Wyatt or Flo's next move will be, but Sally might be returning to the picture soon. I feel like Wyatt owes Sally an apology for putting Flo on this pedestal and being blinded by a lot of things. His mother's influence. There's just a lot of things. I think Sally was treated unfairly. And I don't know what's going to happen to Flo, but she deserves whatever she gets. Now, let's talk about Steffi for a minute. I think deep down, Steffi knows the truth in her gut. But she is refusing to see it or hear it. And I, unlike Chelsea, do feel the slight bit sorry for her. Just a slight bit. Because she is now in love with this little girl. Granted, it's not like they're going to take her away and she's never going to see her again. But I definitely could understand getting attached to a child, raising them, taking care of them, and then someone comes and takes them. It's not an easy thing. But at the same time, I totally get what Chelsea's saying, because also it's kind of like hard to feel sorry for her when she went along with this adoption. She asked very little questions and was willing to give a suitcase full of money to a stranger. So I have mixed emotions about that. But I can tell you right now, I'm a Steffi fan, but if she acts crazy and does not give Hope her baby back, I'm going to have issues with Steffi. For sure. Let's talk about Thomas. I know y'all don't want to, but we have to. Thomas was so scary this week because he was so erratic. The walls started closing in on him and he freaked out. He really wanted to kidnap Hope. And I'm very scared of what he is going to do when he finds out Liam told Hope. I'm very scared what he's going to do to Douglas for telling. I'm scared what he's going to try to do to Hope to keep her away from Liam. I hope that he snaps out of it, to be honest. But I wanted to ask you guys' opinion, because I saw a article that was asking, is Thomas redeemable? Can he be redeemed? I would love to know what you guys think about that, because I know I want to say no, but I bet you any money Ridge is gonna say yes, he can. He just went crazy for a little bit. Like, who doesn't go crazy obsessed over someone? I mean, come on. Once in your life. That's probably what Ridge is going to say. And I really am not sure if he's redeemable, but I can tell you this. I was so scared about the drugs. Because if Thomas drugged Hope to get her to sleep with him, basically, he would not be redeemable. That would be too far. In my opinion, that would just be too far. Like, being a creep is one thing, but being a rapist is another. Now, let's talk about Scott Clifton. Scott Clifton deserves a round of applause. And I had a round of applause, but I cannot get it to work. So I'm sorry about that, guys. But he deserves a standing ovation. The emotions on Liam's face were so amazing. You could see the wheels turning. And then you could see him putting the pieces together. And then the feeling angry. And then happy at the same time. It was brilliant. Then Hope's reaction was so good also, because she was literally shocked, speechless. And I am not sure what's going to happen, but I agree with Renee. I really Hope or Liam or Wyatt or all three punch Thomas right in his stupid face because he deserves it. He has been nothing but horrible to everyone. And I am very much not going to feel sorry for him. Look, I know the Bold and the Beautiful's tricks. Okay? I know that they are going to try to make us feel sorry for Thomas. But I just don't know if I can do that. I guess we'll see. I predict Liam and Hope will get back together. I think Steffi is going to be devastated. Just totally crushed. I think this is probably going to cause some problems or friction between Brooke and Ridge. I also think that Wyatt could possibly go back to Sally. And I really hope Reese goes to jail, but I don't know if he will. And I'm also a little bit curious if this is going to bring Xander back on the scene. I cannot wait for next week. Next week in the aftermath is going to be so good. And that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you, all of you, for your messages. Please send me more messages and let me know what you all think of the aftermath. If you listen on iTunes, please go on and give me a 5-star rating and a review. It helps the podcast on the business end. You can get in touch with me at theboldandbeautifulpodcast.com. I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I love to hear from you guys. I can't wait to see what you think about Thomas. Is he redeemable or is he not redeemable? Thank you all so much for listening and for your support. I will be back in your ears next week with the aftermath. Until next time, bye guys.